Welcome to another edition of the Roar of the Lions UK podcast, episode 395. The Legion is back. My name is Matthew Turner, alongside Anthony Fitzpatrick and Ashley Soden. How are you doing, boys?
Doing good, doing good. Still a bit tired from yesterday, but at the same time, melancholy. It's the end of the season now. No more football to look forward to until August.
Yeah, it's pretty miserable. I think the only thing more miserable than that game yesterday is the weather that we're currently experiencing over here, which is just rain, 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 and rain. And we've got another week of rain. It's a good job I live on top of a hill because I would need to buy a boat otherwise. It's awful.
It has not been good. It's got to the point where I was doing my bins today for recycling tomorrow, and my neighbour was doing it at the same time, and he said to me, God, it feels like the first time in about a month that it hasn't been raining. And I turned to him incredulously because I was feeling the drops of rain on my face at the time. But the thing was, it just wasn't heavy rain, and so it didn't count. That's where we are at. Rain isn't rain anymore.
See, yeah, forget having the Winter Olympics on at the minute. I've got the wet weather Olympics over here, the swimming, everything. You just go outdoors right now and off you pop. All free right now.
Oh,
All right, we are here to do a Super Bowl recap. We're also going to talk NFL honors first. Before that, but first, do join our Discord channel. We are going to be doing some really great stuff when it comes to the NFL draft. The Discord is the first place to find out about all of that sort of thing. The link's in the live chat right now. It's in the audio pod description. It'd be great to see you there for what is going to be a long off season. And the college pod is coming back.
Yeah, we'll be back this week. It's all good fun. Obviously, like I said, draft season is in full flow now, and doing some more portal stuff as well. We did last week. I did some of the best team portal transfers of this year. This time, I'm going to be looking at individuals, specifically players I really like who've moved through the portal through each of the levels. So you've got FCS to FBS guys, Group of 5 to Power 4 guys, and sort of lower Power 4 to upper Power 4 guys. So, doing some of our favorite transfers as well as draft stuff. So yeah, plenty on the docket.
And finally, our late podcasting friend Stephen Collins, his fundraiser is still live. His funeral is going to be in 8 days' time on Tuesday. I have shared the link to his fundraiser in the live chat right now. So if you are able to give, it's going to benefit Steve's wife. So whether that comes to meeting funeral expenses or just helping her out with life, or if she's in a good place, because I don't know what her situation is. I don't think either of them have worked really properly for some time because of everything that's happened, and COVID affected Emma, I know, somewhat, quite a bit actually. So without trying to be too intrusive into their life, it's going to help her. Or if they're in a good spot, then hopefully she's going to donate it to a charity in Steve's name. So it's going to go to a good place one way or the other. The link, as I say, in the live chat at the moment. Please give if you can. Okay. NFL honors. So let's just go through some of these in terms of the big choices and see how we're feeling about them. MVP is Matthew Stafford, first time in his career, former Lion. I mean, it's not on a Lions uniform. Probably solidifies his Hall of Fame resume, I would have thought at this point, boys. In some ways, I feel great about it. In some ways, I fucking hate it.
yeah, it was bittersweet to watch because we know more than pretty much any fans across the league what Stafford could do for a team, and for him to finally kind of get the recognition for it was nice to see, and to see all the videos that happened with him and his daughters. They were great to see, but at the same time, yeah, just you do have that slight bit of you just wish it was with us, that you didn't have to see him doing it in a Rams uniform, and you didn't have to see him do the mic drop moments at the end, like, oh, see you guys next year, and it just cuts to Sean McVay's bloody face beaming, like he's just been told that, he just won $1 million or whatever. So happy for him. Yeah, probably solidifies his Hall of Fame bid now, because by the time he does retire, he's probably going to be top 3 in like passing yards, touchdowns, and that. But yeah, just wish it was with us.
I can't be bothered with him now, to be fair. He's on a new team. He's going into the Hall of Fame with a different team. By the time he's said and done, that connection's gone now. So good for him. I think he's earned it this year. It's crazy how he statistically had a worse year than when he had the 5,040 with us and didn't even get into a Pro Bowl, let alone an MVP. But that's how the league works. You're on a successful team, you get it. So yeah,
Mm.
good for him. But I'm beyond caring about him anymore. Like I say, there's just no connection here anymore. He's been in LA a long time. He's still going to be there a while, and all the accolades when his career's done are going to be with LA. So good luck to him.
On the other awards, I'm just going to list them out. No Lions in the major awards. Offensive Player of the Year, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Defensive Player, Miles Garrett. Offensive Rookie, Ted McMillan. Defensive Rookie, Carlson Sweshinger. Protector of the Year, Joe Tooney. Comeback Player of the Year is CMC. Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel. And Assistant Coach of the Year, Josh McDaniels in a Patriots sweep on the coaching side. Any thoughts on any of the rest of them, boys? I mean, I got to feel pretty good as a show that we had a look at Ted McMillan and Schlesinger and said they're going to be two terrific players. So for the show, I'm kind of happy that we, went pretty hard. At least, some of us did on a couple of those players. Tooney's come out of fucking nowhere though for me.
Yeah, I get why Tooney won it because he hasn't given up a sack in something like 1,200 drop back, so that's fair. Though, God, and it's all obviously the best to us as well, but like God winning it, like I could understand if it was basically any of the other guys who were up for it. Because obviously you had Creed Humphrey, you had Penne, you had Garrett Bowles. If they won it, obviously would have wanted Penne to win it, but if any of them won it, I'll be like, you know what, fair enough. They play valuable positions for good teams. The stuff there. Baltooni's definitely got the pass blocking down, and I know there's also part of it's to do with like longevity and stuff outside of the game. Yeah, that was the big shock to me. Like every other award winner, I can kind of see. Vrabel, I can't, as much as I was a fan of the Patriots. I thought that should have gone to McDonald because they had the harder schedule. Like I know you take out the playoffs because it's voted before then anyway. I know they both got to the Super Bowl, but McDonald went through much deeper adversity in terms of the teams they played. But yeah, Vrabel obviously had the turnaround for them, so I can see why he won it. It's just I personally have McDonald winning it. So
Yeah, I mean, the Protector one, yeah, I think that would be the one you'd be vehemently disagree with. I also think Comeback Player of the Year is starting to lose its purpose. Like CMC, he's one of the best players in the league. Like he's had a year out for injury, but it's hardly a comeback. Like for me, a comeback is like when you are either, you know, you're out the league, you're done, and you have a fantastic year. Something like I wouldn't say Darnold would be, but I think Darnold would have more of a conversation from it, from what he's done. But like CMC is one of the best players in the league. It's not a comeback. It's just he's healthy and he's playing how he is. So, you know, I would use the same thing for Hutch. Like Hutch is one of the better edges in the league. But he deserves it more because his injury was more serious and he wasn't he's not as much as an established star as CMC. But I don't know. I just think it needs to start redefining what it is because it's just like they just seem to want to give CMC awards for the sake of it at this point. I don't think he's earned something like that, but the others, yeah, whatever. I mean, I do think Vrabel's got a good shout for this. Like, you take a four-win team, you take them to a Super Bowl, like that's a pretty good turnaround. Like, it's better than when um,
Stefanski.
Stefanski won his. He took them to a playoff game. Woo, well done. Good luck, man. But he's taken them through the AFC, which is just, it's got a lot of tough teams in there. Although they may not have been at their top tier this year, there's still a lot of competition there, and he managed to get the best out of them. So I can see why either of them could have won it for me. But I think Vrabel got the hardest situation he inherited, and I'm glad with him for getting that. But yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Vrabel's a worthy winner. The Seahawks had a harder schedule, but they also started with a much better team, in theory. So Vrabel has done a lot more. Sorry, has done about the same with a lot less, I guess is the argument. And I mean, when it comes to Coach of the Year, you have to wrangle with the fact that the Patriots have drafted abysmally, like really, really badly in the last 4 or 5 years. Whereas the Seahawks have drafted maybe the best run since the Seahawks of the previous regime. You know, they've gone on like a 4-year run where they've just been on an ungodly track. Like, if you think the Lions have drafted well in those few years, have a look at what the Seahawks have done. And, you know, it's not a GM and Coach of the Year. John Schneider's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Not that Mike McDonald isn't worthy of being in the discussion. Of course he is. Look at what he's done. But, yeah, Vrabel's had to do it with meshing together a lot of free agency people. And that's really hard. All right, let's get on with the Super Bowl, shall we? Seahawks win 29-13 in, even as someone who loves defense, one of the more dull Super Bowls in memory. The Patriots were shut out through 3 quarters. They scored their first points with 12:27 left in the 4th quarter to go 19-7 down. Boys, this was never close. Drake May had, I think it was something like 60 passing yards through almost 3 quarters. Seattle deserve all the credit. Their defense was absolutely on fire, but the Patriots defense had a lot of joy up front against the Seattle offensive line. And Sam Darnold, for all of his 50% completion rate, the amount he had to scramble back there to elongate plays so he could maybe throw the ball away rather than eating a sack, where May was eating sacks right, left, and centre. I think the Seattle team deserved credit across the board.
Yeah, well, proof of that. And I love how last week I said, oh, yeah, the Patriots run defense, so if they win, it'll be it. The Patriots had less rushing yards throughout the entire game than Bad Bunny technically had at the start of his halftime show. Because Bad Bunny at the start, he had carried that football 124 yards. The Patriots had 95 rushing yards throughout the entire game. Just one of those fun stats. But yeah, I'll hand my hat. As I said, I would. God, 18 hours ago, hold my hands up. I even though I did say if the Seahawks win this, how it look, but I obviously picked the Patriots. I was wrong. I thought Drake May would turn it around, but you know, he had the worst Super Bowl for someone called Drake since last year.
Yeah, I mean, 52 quarterback pressures in the game tells you everything you need to know. Both defenses teed off on one another and made it very difficult for competent quarterback play, which just kind of bogged both offenses down because neither was running it particularly well to start with. It only until later in game when the Patriots defense got gassed that Kenneth started having success. But it was awful. It was truly an awful game. I love defensive football. I love low-scoring defensive games, but it's when a defense is like it's repelling good football. Like it's just they're playing so good that even a good offense is struggling against you. In this, both quarterbacks were just throwing some horrendous throws with guys open, overthrowing guys, just lobbing them to the side. Like there was just nothing to it. There was no skill whatsoever. It was just truly awful offense, and play calling was terrible. And both offensive lines were quite frankly rubbish for the most part of this. And so it just turned into one of those where it's just punt, 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 punt. Bryce Barringer, bless him, should have been MVP for this one because of the amount of times. He probably got more touches than most of the Patriots skill players did, and he's the bloody punter. But it was just rough. And, you know, I guess that's what it was always going to be. You know, these two defenses are very good. You've got to feel sorry for the Patriots defense. They did what they could with the situation they were given. I mean, obviously, there was some great defensive play in there. Like, individually, looking at some of these defenders was tremendous. And some of them have earned an absolute king bag going forward. Not looking at you, Christian Gonzalez. Like, God knows how much the Patriots are going to have to pay him after this. But it just made for such a turgid thing. And then the Seahawks just slowly got ahead. And then when they're 19-0 up, it's a 3-score game. You're like, it's over. for all intents and purposes, it's over. New England are not made to come back from big deficits like that because they can't move the ball uber quickly because they ain't got the offensive line holding up in. They're able to take shots downfield. They're not able to really do it. And yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed. I wasn't even going to watch it, and I convinced myself to watch it because I thought it's the last game of the year. I'm going to stay up. I'm going to watch it. I'll do this. And then I'm there at like 2:30 in the morning, like, probably should have gone to bed. It's just not been enjoyable at all. I was actually doing draft work by the end of it because I was so bored. So yeah, it just was not good at all.
It wasn't a pretty game to watch. I think one of the things that struck me is I didn't think the Seahawks offense was putrid, and I think that was the biggest difference in the game. The Patriots offense was almost non-existent, but Seattle managed to move the ball between the 20s, as you said about Behringer. He didn't give the Seahawks any advantageous field position. So the Seahawks had to go a long way. And the fact that they actually put 12 points in field goals on the board was reflective of the fact that they managed to move the ball from like between their 10 and their 25 to the Patriots 30 or better. Patriots bent but didn't break on defense, as well as having pressure up front. They actually allowed a fair amount of yards. And I think that happened throughout the game. You talked about Ken Walker kind of getting a lot of yards late, which is true. But you kind of got just enough, and they got some key conversions where, you know, they managed to get another set of downs, and then maybe they stalled out on the third set or something like that. But that gave the field goal kicker enough room to kick a load of field goals. I mean, you know, when you start on the 25 or 20, you don't have to go maybe that far to be in field goal range, but then none of the field goals that Jason Myers hit were that long. His long was 41. So, given that they had no short fields and the long was 41 and hit 5 of them, Seahawks pretty consistently moved the ball. It just wasn't pretty. Like, it was just like slow death watching a fucking train crash. Like, come on, guys. You can do better than this. I mean, the fact that there were 15 punts in the game and there was 20 return yards total is ridiculous.
Again, a lot of them got returned right in front of the end zone. You're like, they're the ones you don't want to return. You try and put hands on that and muff it. Like, there was quite clearly a sense of, we don't want to make a mistake here. And you think there's some good returners there. Marcus Jones is one of the best returners in the league. Got absolutely nothing. But then Behringer just kept putting them back in their own 10. And you don't really want to return it from there. So, you know, it was okay. Let's say special teams did extremely well in this game. This was a victory for special teams. The kicking was good, the punting was good, the snapping was good. Like, you know, that was one positive from this. But when you're talking about a Super Bowl and special teams are your highlight in the game, then it kind of just tells you where you're at in the whole thing with it. But. Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling for legitimate things to say about this that I enjoyed, and phases of it I enjoyed, because the comeback never felt like a comeback, and it just kind of felt like dead after the half, really. And it was just, you kind of just felt like you were winding the clock down in the second half, and you're just waiting for the Super Bowl to be won. Like, even if we won that, I'd be somewhat semi disappointed if the game was that bad. Like, I'd want to get there and win it in style. I wouldn't want to win it like that because it would not feel like I've won it properly.
I think the comeback didn't feel real, but with 8:49 to go, the Patriots have just moved the ball from their own 4 to their 44, down 19 to 7. That can't be right. What am I talking about? Where was the pick six? There it is, sorry. 22 to 7. That's not what I meant. Anyway, the interception to Julian Love really changed things. And that's a really beautiful defensive play. That isn't in the realm of what we were talking about in terms of it being an ugly game. The Seahawks interception was excellent. And then the pick six, when it was 22 to 7, Patriots are driving. They maybe could get back in this game. It doesn't feel real, but you know what? They're on the Seahawks 44. They're down 15. So touchdown here. There's 4 minutes to go. I think you had 2 timeouts at that point.
Yeah.
So you could well get the ball back if you score a touchdown here. Score makes it a one possession game. We have seen, and like this is the season where comebacks have happened the most in history, right? It being a 2-score game with 4 minutes to go, but you got the ball with 2 timeouts. That has happened several times this year. So it's not out of the realm. And then the incredible pressure through the middle that Devon Witherspoon gets so that Uchenna Nwosu gets that pick 6 is just the icing on the cake. And also, I know that Brent is in the live chat at the moment. So you took the Patriots with points. 14.5, I believe, is what we agreed on here. Seahawks win by 16. Pay up, sir. Pay up.
True.
I didn't forget.
I mean, I was about to say, yeah, the comeback also didn't feel real because while Anna was doing draft stuff, we were with our new friends playing on the punch machine and doing Sporkle quizzes to pass the time because we were that bored as well. After I absolutely cleaned up at that 200 Premier League goal game, I smashed that exactly.
I did win the hit a football as hard as you possibly can game, which I'm taking to my grave. It's going on my headstone.
What a trophy.
No, I mean it didn't feel like there was going to be a comeback because what was the Patriots fucking drive chart? That first half was disgusting.
Punt. Like,
it was just it wasn't like they were extending drives and just getting repelled. They just weren't having drives full stop. Like there was nothing. I think they had 2 drives that went into double digits in the first half and low double digits. 3 of them went single digits. It never ever felt like a threat to Seattle, and they had like 5 sacks by half time, just teeing off again and again and again and again, and it's. I mean, this is a proof that defense wins championships, right? You go back there, your defense wins you these things in these high pressure situations, and we can learn a lot from this. But it never felt like that. Even with the interceptions, it did feel like Seattle just had too much in the tank for them. And Kenneth Walker just kept getting better as the game went on and on because he just wore them down. That Patriots defense was absolutely, destroyed by the end.
Yeah.
Not for lack of trying, but just because they got worn down and they started on top of them. So, even if the Patriots scored one more touchdown, Seahawks are just going to run it on them again anyhow and get more points. So it was just they were never in danger at all, and that just removes any excitement from the game when there's no proper jeopardy there. So the Seahawks didn't really turn it over. They always punted. It wasn't. There was no advantageous field positions. There was no nothing. It genuinely felt one-sided, and I feel sorry for that Patriots defense because they worked their absolute ass off in that game to keep that team in it, and they had no right to be in that game with a quarter to go. And eventually, it just buckled, which it's gonna do.
Given that the head coach and offensive coordinator just swept the NFL honors, do you feel either of them deserve any flack for the way the game was called on offense for the Patriots? Because you're talking about them going punt. It's 12-0 at the end of the third quarter. Before their fumble, they punted 3 times in the third quarter. And I think one of them, or a couple of them, were on 4th and short-ish. Well in their own territory, but you've had nothing. You're down 2 scores, and you're giving the ball back to them. At any point, did you feel like they should have maybe started to risk it a little bit more than they did?
Yeah, I think you kind of. I can see why. Vrabel's not that type of guy, so that's just what he does. He obviously, and I think quite rightly so, early on, trusted his defense to getting the ball back, which they did. So I agree with him to start with. I would like to have seen a bit more urgency as the game went on. They were very slow in the second half, and again, it's not easy when your quarterback's getting absolutely murked out there, but it's a Super Bowl. It's the last game of the year. You've got to throw caution to the wind eventually. So I thought the first half it was fine. At the second half, he waited too long, and then they just never did because they were kind of that far behind that. Again, that fourth quarter, just there was no the feeling of inevitability had set in. So it's like, why were you not aggressive earlier if you've kind of just given up for the fourth quarter? So it was a tale of two in regards to their play calling and their time management.
one thing I definitely think held them back, and I'm saying this, I'm not going to rag on the one player who's getting killed out on Twitter for this a lot, but you could tell the Patriots are starting two rookies on their offensive line with Campbell and Jared Wilson.
It's a matter of fact that they played badly and they were exploited. They don't deserve to have shit thrown at them for it.
Exactly.
But Seattle saw a weakness and absolutely went for it.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll live and learn from it. Maybe some of the stuff that I've seen on Twitter with Campbell is right. So, okay, this is one where maybe he needs to learn and not do vertical sets. That's fine. It's a coaching point. But some of the stuff has come out about him, as you're saying, is not deserved. And everyone's like, oh, like, this is why everyone said it should be a guard. The same issues he's having in this game would happen at guard even more because it was about power and that he was getting overpowered by some of the defensive tackles. That's what McDonald did. He saw the weakness, he schemed upon it. That's all the blitzes are having with Witherspoon and Morin, that they're all coming through that side. It worked, fair play. And McDaniels, as good as he's been this year and turning around Drake May, turning him into a borderline MVP candidate, they did not adjust to that at all.
I mean, it's that entire line that was bad. Morgan Moses got duped by Devon Witherspoon, who is about half his size. Like, how the hell, when he's got a clear run at you, you let him just sidestep you? You are a big man. You should absolutely pile drive him into the ground. And that was, I think it was the second sack on that wonderful blitz of his, but he just ran straight past him. It's like, and you're the veteran in that room. You're meant to be the good one, and you couldn't even see that when you had no one to mark and you were one-on-one with a 180-pound DB. And then everyone else was trash as well, really. The only good one was on Wenu. And I include Garrett Bradbury in that, and I hate having to destroy former NC State players, but he's useless at centre. It's tough when you've got a subpar centre and two rookies on the left-hand side of the line, and the Patriots didn't help them. It took 3 quarters for them to really offer any help to him. It's just not fair. The kids are, it doesn't matter whether you picked 1 or 255 and you're starting out there. A rookie's a rookie. And a rookie who's left on his own against one of the fiercest pass rushers in the league with a defensive mastermind behind it who is just absolutely clinically out-coaching them. What do they expect from him? They expect him just to be an all-pro right out the gate in his first year in the highest pressure situation you can face, with a rookie next to him as well. It's not like he's got a vested vet in there helping him either. It's crazy how you wouldn't work more tight ends on the end and have your chip blockers out there helping them. Or just fucking put another blocker on there. Run heavy set. Do something else rather than what you tried to do. It was just crazy. That was the mismanagement there. Leaving your rookie on an island on his own is just, doesn't matter where you pick them in the draft. You've still got to give them help because this is a situation they are not accustomed to.
Yeah, don't disagree. Okay, Ken Walker got MVP. He went for 27 for 35 on the ground, 2 for 4 for 26 through the air. I thought the broadcast went unnecessarily in on him when he dropped a pass, with them saying he was basically horrific as a receiver and as a pass protector, which may be fair, but who cares when you can run the ball like that? Did you think it was the right choice? Would you have gone for someone else? Who were the people that you thought were kind of in the mix to be in there for MVP?
Not to be the special teams matter guy, but I did say to you yesterday it's between Ken Walker and Jason Myers. Jason Myers outscored the Patriots by himself.
And you're on the same train.
I mean, I thought a defensive player probably should have got it. Like, given the sort of game you've had, I'm surprised a DB didn't get it. I mean, I know you don't really give it to the losing team guy, but Gonzalez had one of the best performances you'll see. Devon Witherspoon was absolutely fantastic. Like, there was some really good defensive performances in this, and that's ultimately what won this game. Seattle's points came as a result of defensive turnover and Kenneth Walker getting the, lay of the land when the defense had just kind of done everything with it. So obviously Derek Hall, Byron Murphy, guys like that were absolutely just sensational, just right off the bat, all over the place. So I don't agree. It's Super Bowls always love to have quarterbacks as their MVPs. In lieu of a bad year when there's no good QB, they instantly go to another offensive player. And I'm just like, come on. Like, the Patriots have had one of the worst offensive performances in Super Bowl history. There's going to be someone responsible for that, which is not just running again as much. Again, I'm not trying to rag on Kenneth Walker at all. It was a fantastic performance, but a lot of those yards came when the Patriots defense was broken and just started getting carved up. It wasn't necessarily him that was doing the good work. It was his offensive line that just broke him down. So, no, I think it was a terrible choice. And I was very surprised. I thought it should have been a defensive player for me, all day, every day.
Yeah, I think the guy for me would probably have been Derek Hall, just because, yeah, he got the 2 sacks like Byron Murphy did. He got the 4th fumble. And,
Yeah.
that was before the comeback really started getting going, but it allowed the Seahawks to get so far in front that the comeback then never looks on at all. If the Patriots had scored in that drive that 4th fumble happens, it's a far more interesting game, at least in terms of it being close. And he stopped that. He made, for me, the not game-changing play, the game-solidifying play. And that's worth a lot. All right.
I agree. It should have gone defensive, but hey ho, Kenneth Walker got it, and Michigan State have some good news in their lives at last. One of their own wins an MVP in a Super Bowl, so good for them.
And straight after the game, Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator formerly of the Seattle Seahawks, confirmed that he is going to become the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. So it was an open secret that was going to be the case. The fact that he confirmed it while the ticker tape was kind of still falling was a bit shocking to me. But, what do you think of that decision? I mean, he's kind of coming off a season whereby they've made, something really big of them having like 2 offensive weapons in Jackson Smith-Njigba and Ken Walker. They've had a pretty good offense all the way through. They've had a pretty hard route to get here. Very highly regarded, and he takes potentially the worst job of all that was available this year. I'm really surprised that this is the one he went for.
I mean, this is twofold. I mean, you say it's the worst job going, but at the same point, it's one of the better jobs going, because if you turn that franchise around, you will have whatever job in the league you like. Like Dan Campbell. If Dan Campbell wins a Super Bowl in Detroit, he can have any job in this league he wants, and he would walk into it quite happily. And it's the same with Kubiak. And I mean, you've not got nothing there. You've got the first overall pick, especially as an offensive guy. You are going to get, and hopefully, and I would assume he's taken that job based on that he likes Fernando Mendoza, his skill set, what he's capable of. So you're going to get your first piece right away, your quarterback. That is what any head coach wants walking into a job. So you've got what you want. And then afterwards, you can build around that. And, you've been around a successful system. You've got some decent players there. If you can convince Max Crosby to stay, you've got $90 million to spend in free agency as well. So you can address a lot of holes on that team in terms of you can get plenty of depth in to solidify yourself in year one whilst you build through the draft. And, it's a team that's not had much success there. And you go and bring them success, you will get known. And even if it doesn't work there, you will get a bigger job in this league. It's like the worst job for this is Kubiak's job. Like, really, you've just won a Super Bowl. Going to a Super Bowl, a team that's just won a Super Bowl, have got a 99% chance that team is going to regress next year and not win a Super Bowl again. Like, it has already been done. So you're on a hide into nothing either way. Here, you can only go up. And you have got the thing you need the most, the number 1 pick. So I think it's a smart move from him. It'll take him a few years, but he's going to get a few years. And Brady's at the helm now, so you would like to think that they will be a bit more sensible. You would like to think Kubiak's going to bring in, better players. They're going to scout better. He will overhaul that organization. So I think it's a good job for him. I do.
Yeah, same. So, because as you say, first over weeks, that's pretty much been done. Who knows? You've already got your franchise running back, Deontay. You've got two damn good tight ends to build around. We know he likes to use tight ends, like AJ Barner, what he's done with him this year. You've got you've got some pieces on the offensive line, like Colton Miller's not exactly, a superstar all pro, but he's a damn good left tackle. There's at least one building piece you can go for, and you've got the potential draft tool coming in for Max Crosby. He's not going to be a Parsons level, but he supposedly turned around and told Tom Brady yesterday that he's never going to play for the Raiders ever again. So you're going to get at least a first round pick coming in as well. If this year, next year, to help build up that defense again, there's enough there that you can do it. And yeah, you turn around that franchise. Yeah, you look so respectfully, and he's been in the doldrums before. We've got to remember, before he was the Seattle offensive coordinator, he was with the Saints when they had like James Winston and Derek Carr, and he got them playing at least functionally well for half a season before all the injuries started. So he's got enough pieces there that he's not going to contend, instantly come in and contend for the division or anything, but he'll make them look respectable. You could at least get the offense sorted first year, and then the second year, if you get a good defensive coordinator, and you can sort out a lot of that side of the ball as well, and suddenly they're not going to contend potentially with the Chiefs or Broncos, but for a couple of years, but he can build it up, and he can build up his thing. And yet then if they do fire him because they get to like 9-7 and he comes to the end of his contract and he doesn't choose to renew, pretty much whatever coaching jobs out there that's available, he'll be top of the list. It'll be like this year where so many of the positions were filled by former head coaches. Because I think teams are starting to get a bit wary of taking the risk on the big up-and-coming guys as much as he's won. But at least he's been around in different systems. They want people they can trust at this point, because so many coaches that are now hired are 1 or 2 years and done. They want guys that know they can trust and leave for the duration of their contract and just let them do what they need to do.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about the game, about any of the fallout, anything like that? I will say the league have done the most remarkable, or the betting markets have done the most remarkable thing by saying the Seahawks are favourite for next year. Like every year when you have the Super Bowl winners and go, is there any reason for them to not win it again? Well, they're really good. They just won it. Yeah, we'll make them favourites again. Like, it's just so boring.
Oh, well,
it's not even news.
Exactly. I looked this morning. Someone wants to come out. How are the Green Bay Packers bigger favourites for it than us?
The Jordan Love effect, y'all. What are we, 7th favourite? 7th doesn't feel unreasonable given our situation, but
True.
Some of the teams above us are a bit questionable.
True.
And I mean, at this point, like, no roster's confirmed. Like, we're about to hit free agency. A lot of teams are about to lose a lot of vital parts, and cap issues, salary issues, draft. Like, I don't feel like you can you've got to wait until the draft's done, like the initial 2 tranches of free agency and the draft are done. Then you can at least see what rosters look like and then have a guess at what it's going to be. Because, Seahawks have got some major holes about to appear. Kenneth Walker, they've got to pay. Job and other guys in the secondary you've got to pay.
Maffei's gone.
Yeah. Maffei gone, you're going to lose a lot of bits here. Now, people will obviously want to come and play for you, but, rosters can change very quickly is the point here. So, it just seems weird now that I don't look at it. I don't even look at it until the first 2 tranches of free agency and the draft are done. Then you start having a look at who's a potential contender. Like us now, our team, as it stands right now going into next year, is nowhere near competing. Like, it is absolutely nowhere near competing with what we've got in Detroit right now. But after the draft and after free agency, it will be. But right now, it's not. So who knows?
True.
Just to go through the list of Seahawks that are out of contract in this season. Rashid Shaheed, they traded for him. They've got to pay him. That's going to be a fair chunk. Josh Jones, Boye Mafe, Kenneth Walker, Josh Jobe, Kobe Bryant, Tariq Woolen. So, two corners of which one of the two is the starters and one of the two is the primary backup, or nickel. I guess Boye Mafe is not a starting edge, but he's a DPR-ish sort of thing that's going to get some money. Backup right tackle, starting wide receiver. Kobe Bryant was a huge piece of that defense. You got to pay him. So, yeah. But they've got 6th highest amount of cap space in the NFL, so they can probably pay everyone they want to.
True. It's true.
All right. Anything further before we get out of here?
Fair play to those Packers guys on the table opposite to us yesterday, not at all biting to my taunting. I was on a wind-up mission and they did not bite for it, and I was happy for them, even though they were wearing those ugly alternative uniforms. But fair play to them.
You say you were on the wind-up, but frankly, I don't think they understood what you were doing. I don't think they had the comprehension for what was happening.
Fair.
They're a special bunch, so you've got to treat them as such.
Yeah, all I said was it's nice to see a player called Love actually make a play in the Super Bowl for once when Julian got his pick, and there was nothing. I was like, damn, come on.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's like the reaction to all of your jokes.
You've got to really go in with the shithousery if you're going to do that. You've got to really dig deep. Yeah.
Just say Aaron Rodgers would have got here.
Oh God.
Poor Pittsburgh fans, him saying he might go back next year, and all of Pittsburgh's like, for the love of God, please no.
Yeah,
just retire, please.
Did you say Love? Anyway.
God, you do that to Steelers fans, bless them.
They will take Derek Carr and they about it.
I'd take Derek Carr over Aaron Rodgers again. I think.
It's funny, there's so varying opinions on Aaron Rodgers and what he can do. Paul Walker was one of the guys who came out with us last night. We were talking about all of this sort of thing this morning at McDonald's over breakfast, obviously.
Which one?
Which McDonald's? The one right next to Premier Inn.
Mackey's on the ramp.
Yeah.
The infamous one.
Mackey's on the ramp. And he's of the opinion that Aaron Rodgers' arm talent is pretty much as good as it's always been. He's just become a bit gun-shy. And that he'd actually take him quite highly still in the reckonings of NFL quarterbacks, which I respect but don't agree.
Same.
Anyway, I thought that was an interesting take.
You don't know what does he need? Like, they've invested a load in their offensive line. Like,
they're going to need an edge player when they get rid of TJ Watt.
No, because you've got Herbig. Herbig will replace.
Yeah, but that only leaves them with 2 good edge players. That is not Pittsburgh football if you don't have 3 or 4 guys.
Well, I mean, you need to put an offense around your QB, though.
What QB?
Well, if Aaron Rodgers goes back, you've got to tailor an offense to him. Like, you've got to make sure everything's there. Otherwise, there's no point in bringing him back. You're just wasting a year.
Okay, but offensive line is meh. Wide receivers are meh. Tight end is fine.
I mean, you've got 3 rookies on that line from last year. Like, it's young. It'll get better.
It will.
And it is better than it's been in a long time, actually. Like, they'll get to where they need to.
Alright, okay, so our next episode is going to be the start of our off-season program. We are pivoting towards the NFL draft. We've got the Combine in just 2.5 weeks, I believe. Which means that we're doing the first of our positional breakdowns. We haven't decided which position it's going to be yet, but we're going to decide that in just a few minutes, and then we're going to get the announcement of that up. And if you have any suggestions for people within that group, do give us a shout and we'll have a look. Grandizer's looking for a Q&A, but I'm not feeling the most hot after yesterday, so we're going to, if you don't mind, boys, I'll leave a little bit early and then talk creative for a minute. So any final thoughts before we sign off?
Nah. Just, Brett, Rest in peace, my fantasy team, after Zoboslai went and did what he did yesterday. Missing my key midfielder for 3 games. Well, my right back for 3 games. What can I do?
Don't. You're going to extend this pod another hour while he complains about refs.
Oh, no, I will back Matt up here. When it happened, he said it was the right. Like it was.
This is just karma catching up with him for all these years of favoritism. So there you go.
Trying
Bite,
to
little fishy.
trying to hook
Bite,
a fish,
little
but it's
fishy.
not going to happen.
Bye, little fishy.
We suck. So
I tell you what, I've got some terrific long snapper transfers here. If you want to hear about them.
go for it.
Oh, do you? Oh shit. No, I don't.
Duh, come on.
Bluff.
Bluff called. I should have known better.
All right. Time to sign off. Everybody, we'll see you next week. College football podcast coming up this week. Remind us again what you're talking about.
What am I talking about? Christ. It's draft time, of course. There'll be draft stuff. We'll be recapping the All-Star games, just a little bit about them, and we're doing Portal again. Specifically, players I like who've moved through the portal. Last week it was like the best team Portal efforts this year. This week's gonna be about individual players. There's a lot of good transfer players this year. I'm looking forward to seeing it at a higher level, so we're gonna go through some of those.
All right, you can find us on the socials, Royal Lions UK, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and the Facebook group for Wide fans, Detroit Lions fans UK, One Private Wine. The website, rotluk.com. We've got Paul Air Walker doing some good draft content on our website, so do go and have a read of some of the articles that he's doing there, and there will be a bit more coming down the track as well. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate us 5 stars on your podcast provider, all that good stuff. Have a great week. We'll see you for the College Football Podcast, but for now, let's go Lions, One Pride.
One pride.
One pride.
Recording stopped.